I'm Benjamin Hall, and I'm searching for heroes. Hi, everyone, and thank you again for joining me on the podcast today. I'm really excited about today's episode because no matter who you are or what you've been through, we all have bad days. And sometimes after a string of bad days, or maybe even a bad year, it can feel impossible to escape them. Or even when you're having a good day, you can be scared about when the next bad day will come. But today, we're taking a look at how to turn your bad day into something meaningful, which is the message at the heart of JT Mestdagh's book, No Bad Days, turning your biggest challenges into your greatest opportunities. By the time JT was 16, he had undergone over 16 major surgeries as a result of VACTERL syndrome. It is a rare, life-threatening combination of birth defects that impacts JT's life every single day. But despite being told he shouldn't have survived his first days of life, JT has overcome the odds, and because of it, is dedicated to never taking life for granted. His positive attitude has led him to accomplish some incredible accomplishments, from writing his book to climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. So, I hope you enjoy my conversation with JT today as we jump into how any one of you can take a bad day, change that mindset, and turn it around.
I think that in my life, I've had, some different challenges, as we all do have our challenges and stuff. But one thing I was very blessed with was my parents, and they encouraged me to go out and try new things all the time. And then other mentors in my life were a huge part of my life of introducing me to adventure and new types of activities that I love and stuff.
So when you say, and many people I speak to, they say, and I believe it too, that parents, family really create the best sort of model and platform from which you can grow. But do you think there's also an element of it that you are born with? Do you think some people are naturally, go-getters and love life, and other people are more reserved? Or do you think it is all through sort of upbringing and...
No, I think you're right. I think, the good Lord has blessed me with sort of this positive attitude and outlook on life, and sort of go-getting idea of like just having a love for the outdoors and wanting to do different activities. One thing that, years ago, and just with mentors and stuff in my life that have encouraged me to go try new things. And like I said, my parents, never let the medical or education obstacles in my life sort of get in the way of me trying new things. And, but I always have had sort of the mentality of, wanting to get out and be active and have fun out there. So,
yeah,
yes.
Me too. And actually what I found is on those days where you are, whether it is work related, whether it is where you come up against a wall, not certain how to get through it, I always say, I get up, I walk out of the door, and I go do something. I just walk, or I go and do an exercise, or I go and do something exciting. And for me, it clears my mind. It makes me puts things into perspective. And it really is the best. And I hate the word therapy, but it's like, for me, that's the best thing that I can do is just do something. Yeah.
Totally. You just said something there, clear your mind. And when I think of activity and going outside, I always say there was people in my life that, told me, JT, you won't be able to do this because of medical reasons or because of education things. And I always found that being able to be outside was sort of my scapegoat, whether that was just going for a walk or whether that was climbing a mountain or skinning from Aspen to Vail, Colorado. And those times that I get out there is my time with God, my time with myself, and just enjoying nature, where I can sort of push past the people that have said no to me in my life and just keep moving forward and have a joyful time in something that I love doing.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about your own health, and particularly about VACTERL syndrome? And I know how much
Yes.
time you spent in hospital when you were really young, and what that was like.
Yeah, so I was born with VACTERL syndrome, and it's a syndrome that affects your GI system primarily. And so I had tracheoesophageal fistula, as they call it, and just basically like endless pathways that don't connect to your stomach, and had some other lower GI issues where I had a colostomy bag for the first few years of my life. Then I had resectioning in my colon and what they call a pull-through surgery to fix some of the lower stuff, and also to replace the colostomy with a reservoir basically inside of me. So with all that, I have no bowel movement or peristaltic muscles throughout my GI system. So with that, I do a bowel management program every day that cleans me out and all works amazing. I've also had tethered spinal cord with it. So a few spinal cord surgeries that have had to go in there and repair the tethered spinal cord. And so I think I've had about 16 surgeries before I was 16 years old, and I've spent 200 and some days in the hospital during some of those times too. And so the medical start part of my life was a big part in the beginning and a big challenge. But I always say, that I was blessed with amazing doctors and amazing parents too, and other loved ones who helped us all through that. And with that, I've just been so blessed. And I always say that the caregiver has it the hardest, and because emotionally and those kind of things that they're going through. But that's why I feel so blessed with the people that surround me and have taken care of me.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And I found exactly the same when I was going through my own operations and injuries,
Yes.
is that it was the team around me. Without them, I couldn't have come through in the way I did. What you have done, having experienced that, is you have gone on and you are becoming that team for so many people. You are helping other people and you are building that team around them. Was it always natural to you that you wanted to go off and help as many people as you could because of your own experiences?
Yes, I think that one of the big things is when you spend those times in the hospital, you know that you're not the only one in there, and you're not the only one going through what you're going through. There's people that have things much worse and much harder than you, or people that maybe not have it as bad as you, but at that moment in your life, that is your struggle and your challenge that you're going through. And whether it's big to someone or small to someone, it's still their challenge that they're facing. And so, I think that that was something that I realized that at a very young age, when we'd walk up and down the hospital hallways, my dad and I, after spinal cord surgeries or whatever, you'd look into one room and you'd see a child in a bed there. And I'd say to my dad as a youngster, I'd say, this child's not as sick as me. And you'd walk a little further and you'd look in there and you'd say, that child's sicker than me. And then, a week later, you'd come back and do your same walk down the hall and you'd look in there and both those kids were gone. But, one child was discharged and the other one had passed away. And at a young age, it put life into perspective for me. And it made me, realize and just how precious life was. And I just wanted to help others and encourage others to, put their best foot forward in whatever their endeavors are, and to try to be a support system in some way and bring some encouraging light to others.
Yeah. Again, I share that with you. I remember always thinking that, look, there are others who will be worse off than me. And, maybe the focus needs to go on them as well. And my team passed away. The other four of them with me that day passed away in Ukraine.
Yeah.
And I always think, no matter what's happened to me, I'm still here. Life is still around me. We must make sure that we go and experience it as best we can and pass it on to others. And that's what you've done, not only through your charity, but also your book, for example, No Bad Days. incredible book, and you lay out in it a number of sort of your guiding principles, and I want you to talk about a few of them because I think they're fascinating. So if I could ask, for example, one of them you talk about is find your tribe.
Yes.
Talk about that and how and why that is so important.
So, I think the reason that's so important to me is finding your tribe. I learned early on, and with the fact that the people that you surround yourself with is who you become, and just having a tribe of people around you that's going to encourage you and motivate you and push you to the next level and growing stronger in whatever endeavor that is. And so for me, it starts with my parents and my faith as my tribe, but it also, extends out. And something my grandma always said to me is, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. And so I think it really shows that it's important to look at the people that you're surrounding yourself with, and are they a good influence, a good impact on you, and how are they going to continue to grow you, and how are you going to continue to grow them as well in life.
Yeah.
And so finding your tribe is one of the most important things I feel, and one of the awesome topics that we talk about in No Bad Days.
Yeah. How about this? Take off your mask.
Yes. So, for me, the whole idea of masks and stuff stems back to a story where when I was in school, I was dyslexic, and I went to a program called the Tatum Reading Program, and a gentleman, Steve Tatum, really introduced me to this idea of masks and what it really means. And we all can put up a face or a mask, and some could be the jokesters in the classroom, and some could be just quiet and reserved, and just learning how to break through those masks and really understand someone's story, and becoming that tribe member of them, or them becoming part of your tribe as well, and really just opening up to others.
Did you ever feel that you had at some point a mask and that you had to take that off?
I think that there was times in my life that definitely in the education space, one thing where in the education space where I would hide from certain things because I didn't want to read something, or in the classroom, the classic way it works is the child who needs the most help is helped at the end, and so they go around the room, and by the end of the lesson they get to you to help you. And there was certain masks that I definitely put up, but one thing that I learned is another chapter in the book, which is called Share Your Story. And this was so important to me, and I learned this at an early age too, but being able to share your story is so important. For me, one of the things that I learned was by sharing what was going on in my life, really allowed other kids and other people to open up to me and express what was going on in their life. And so finding someone that you trust and that you feel that you can share these certain things with, by doing that, it really opens up this relationship that continues to grow and flourish. And that was one of the most important things to me, is like I'm doing now, sharing my story of, and you too, sharing your story of overcoming, unbelievable challenges and things that you've been through, and then this book also really encapsulates so many others and how they have gotten through their difficulties in life as well.
More of our conversation right after this. What I found really interesting is that once I was home again, and I had my prosthetic legs, I found more people, and this took me by surprise, more people wanted to come up and share with me things that they'd gone through, because I suppose because they knew I'd gone through something that was difficult, and I consider that a great gift. But have you found that people, they know that you've gone through a lot of health difficulties when you were younger, people are more open to you? Do you notice that they want to share more with you because they know that you might understand them?
I totally agree. I think that that is a big factor. And I have found that, just from friends, even, just they feel comfortable with sharing, what's going on in their life, and whether that's, um, you know, a challenge that maybe I even can't relate to, but they feel comfortable with opening up to me and talking through things with me. And then it gives me the same comfort too.
What about creating, because you do some pretty extreme sort of adventures, um, and you talk also about creating memories that you can cherish for a lifetime. And I worry sometimes that with many young people today, they're not getting out there, they're not trying to find these great experiences or explore, do new things. But that's so key for you. What is it about always trying new things? What is it about looking for new experiences that you think is critical?
Yes, I think, I love challenging myself. And so, as you know, a lot of things that I do are physical challenges, but I've been able to tie those back to a good cause too. And then also to do it with people that I love. And one thing in my book I talk about is green time over screen time, basically, and this idea of getting out there and trying new things, and getting away from our screens. And just this past week, we did this amazing event. It's called the Benedict 100, and we went from Aspen, Colorado, to Vail, Colorado, over 7 days, and we had no service. And it was just a great reminder to myself, even that, getting away from that technology and just spending the time with the four of us that we were out there together with, is so important. And I think through adventure you can do that, but there's other ways you can do that too, by just, putting down your phone and going for a walk with a loved one or a friend. And those moments build, everlasting memories too. And so this past event was extraordinarily fun, just to be able to spend time with the four guys that we were with.
And I suppose it's also about setting goals. Like, I mean, I know that I found personally that having a goal and really setting goals and trying to achieve them really helped get through moments. It helped motivate me. It pushed me. And you talk, I suppose, also about stretching yourself. Is that something that you think helped you when you were in hospital, or helped you when you needed help? Is give yourself goals, something to work towards. Is that a big part for you?
A huge part. I think, like you said it best, and all about those goals too, physically too, just to get to the next step. And for me, there was, times like after my back surgeries, even, where I just have a goal of, getting out of bed and standing up and sitting in a chair next to the bed. And then from there, eventually moving myself down the hallway a little ways, walking with a walker. And so these little goals that I had for those physical things have been a lesson for me for life and setting goals. And so whether that's, writing a new book or, growing a foundation to help others and too, but being able to, I think the biggest thing for me I think maybe because of my dyslexia too, but I love writing down these goals. And so I keep a book that is my bucket list, I'll call it, but also my goals. And so there's different things on there. And so I love to just sort of capture those and to strive for those next goals in life.
I've got to ask, what's on your bucket list, JT?
So my bucket list, there's definitely some more climbing involved. With my medical stuff, it becomes a little challenging with some climbs, but we love to set these goals. And so I would love to climb some different mountains. There's one called Mount Aconcagua, that's in South America that I'd love to do. And then there's lots of little things too, different triathlon and marathon and those kind of things that I'd love to check off the list. But then there's also smaller goals too, and that are more obtainable for the everyday life too, and just staying active and keeping my body intact and stuff, and in the best way possible of being active.
Well, I've no doubt that you're going to achieve all of those. I'm certain of it. Tell us a little bit about your foundation. I mean, I know you've raised $500,000, like more than that now, I'm certain. But what does your foundation do, and what are you working towards?
Yes, so the JT Mestdagh Foundation has four sort of a few main topics, I'll call it. And so the medical supply side is most important to me. And so we do medical supplies for children with colorectal issues. And so for me, for 29 years, we've been trying to have insurance cover these supplies, but I haven't been able to get them covered. And so what we do is we help these families get these clean supplies so that children can have, much cleaner ability to do their treatments and things like that. And then we also work with Ronald McDonald House, and we help with their night stay program. And this program allows for families that while their children are undergoing medical treatment, they have a place to stay, and so we help with the night stay program there. And then the education side is just as important to me. And what we do with that is the TADM reading program. We help get teachers trained in the program to go out and tutor kids. And with that being said, all together, we have a faith element that surrounds it all. And because the good Lord has blessed me in so many ways, and just want to be able to give back to that area as well in my life.
Yeah. And I want to talk about faith in a moment. But first of all, how can people help with your foundation? Where can they reach out? How can they donate?
Yes. So the jtmestdaghfoundation.org is the website, and you can learn more about the foundation there, and all the fun events that we have going on as well.
Yeah. And I would encourage everyone to do that as well. I mean, it's a remarkable foundation. I've seen the work that you guys do. Now, you talked a lot about your faith today, and I want you to talk a little bit about it, because actually your first guiding principle is stay true to your faith. So tell me what role faith played, throughout your life, throughout the more difficult moments.
Totally. So my faith, I'm going to go back to a story where my dad came into my hospital room one morning after I had back surgery. And he said to me, JT, I'm so sorry for what you're going through. And I turned to him as a youngster and I said, Dad, it's okay. There are no bad days. There's only hard days. And we get through them with the good Lord. And as a young kid, I know that was not my words. It was the good Lord speaking through me to my dad. And it became a life motto, as you can imagine, with my book being called No Bad Days as well. But throughout my whole journey of life, I've been blessed with my parents and grandparents being of great faith. And so they've really instilled that in me. But then for me too, going through those challenges and early on in life, I think that my faith was definitely growing strong, and my relationship with the Lord and prayer being, so important to me. And so it's, near and dear to my heart. It's something that I spend time on every day, my faith and my relationship with the Lord. And I think that it's, been a real grounding factor for me. It's been someone that I can speak to, and also just see the little things that he does in my life to, push me in certain directions. And just, it's incredible how these things have come to fruition, and how he works through me.
Yeah, he's there in the good times. He's there in the tough times. He is there to guide whenever you need someone to guide you,
Yes.
constant in life, and you can't say that about many things. He's always there.
Exactly.
I suppose just to finish up, what would you say to someone who's going through something difficult? They're in hospital, they're having some, whatever problems, medical or mental. What would your message be to them if they needed to find something to pull them through, a boost in life? What would you say?
Yes. I think some encouraging things that I would say is, that whatever the challenge is that, we are all going to face challenges in life. And who are those people that are going to be there for you? And, sometimes there'll be people that say they're there for you, but then they go away when you're in those challenging times. But make sure you hold true and strong to those people that really truly mean that they're there for you, and really just continue to take your best step forward and keep moving forward, because that on the other end of whatever that struggle or challenge is, you're going to get through it, and you're going to persevere and be successful in whatever it is. But for me, the faith side of it is very important, and so I always say, I don't know what everyone thinks of or has the relationship like I do with the Lord, but being able to pray too is a very helpful tool to overcoming your hardships.
Yeah. JT, you are such an inspirational young man. Really, I know how many people you have helped, how many people have looked at your story, and that has helped them. And so just want to say thank you for joining me today. Keep on doing the incredible work you're doing. And for anyone listening, please go and have a look at his foundation and help when you can. Thanks so much, JT.
Ben, thank you so much for this opportunity and for having me on.
Thank you. JT, thank you. That was absolutely perfect. Really amazing. I wonder if I'm always amazed that some people, I guess the first question I asked, why some people have the ability to live life with a smile on their face. And you certainly can. And I love
Well,
that.
Ben, you too. And your story is incredible. And how are you doing?
I've never been better, to be honest. Like
Awesome.
we were saying earlier, I just think that I'm incredibly lucky to still be here. And I appreciate things in life that maybe I didn't appreciate before. And
Yes.
I think let's not waste a single second of the life we've been given. Let's go and do things. Let's go and help each other. Let's go and build a community and find your tribe. So I feel so many of the things that you have said in your book. And so I know how much it all helps.
It does. And I'm just, that's awesome. And this has been so great to meet you. And thank you for giving me this time to be with you too. So this is awesome.
Yep, and for me too. Thanks so much, JT.
Thank you, Ben.
See you later.
All right.
care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, we do speak to quite amazing people on this podcast. But just seeing JT as we spoke to him, someone who has gone through, and by the way, when he mentioned some of everything he'd gone through when he was younger and medical conditions, there is a longer list. I mean, he has gone through really difficult moments, and yet speaking to him now with a smile on his face, talking about, how he loved life, how he was going to help others, how he felt that he was luckier now. It's just such a great feeling and sentiment and way to live life. And it just does remind you that no matter how difficult things can be, there's always a positive way of getting through them. And JT is someone who just shows that. And so again, just like he said, if you're going through something difficult, there is always a way through it. And rely on your tribe, rely on the people around you. They help you, but you help them. And I think there must not be anything more rewarding in life than being part of a team like that and really working together to get through the hardest moments. And if you work as a team and you're surrounded by people, then you end up as a person so optimistic and positive as JT is. So great pleasure talking to him. And thank you as ever for joining me on the podcast. And I'll speak to you all next week. Listen ad-free with a Fox News Podcasts Plus subscription on Apple Podcasts. And Amazon Prime members can listen to this show ad-free on the Amazon Music app.